Hi there, welcome to Minecraft. You've probably seen this game before, but you probably haven't seen Large Biomes and what they truly have to offer. I should get going. Large Biomes are a relatively underused feature in terms of general Minecraft things, and that is really sad. Because I feel that, in many ways, they are by far one of the coolest features that you can use in your survival world. In multiplayer, it can be tedious, but in single player, it can really make you feel like you're in a giant and actually connected functional world. Right now, we are at Y150. You can see these are large sort of rolling hills next to mountains. Sadly, the Minecraft world isn't extremely tall, but this is the typical mountain generation in Large Biomes. The actual biomap for the biome heat levels is also way wider, which means that while we're flying home, which is around 00, we're going to be seeing quite a lot of ice for quite some time. This is why I've kind of pivoted north, so that we can see more interesting biomes on our way back home. This is a biome that's called the Snowy Plains, though as you can see it's a lot higher up than you may normally expect. It's something that I personally really appreciate. A big issue I've seen in Minecraft is that with the world generation being the way it is really hard to strike a balance between a world that is actually, you know, vertically interesting, that isn't flat, that isn't boring, and a world where you can actually build. Because believe it or not, in a lot of normal Minecraft worlds, it's kind of hard to find a flat space to build. And Large Biomes can really help you out with both. You've seen this as I've been flying around here, but a lot of these mountains do have flat enough areas to build. You can see now as we're flying, there are some relatively flat areas you could relatively easily turn into a base location if only you'd bother to do it. And because there are so many locations, finding the coolest spot is actually kind of difficult. But on this seed, specifically this one, on Large Biomes, the spawn area is a lot more interesting. This looks like a mono biome world, even if we're passing through a bunch of biomes. This is because the way Minecraft works is it will generate a sort of heat map of the world that it uses to read the actual temperature data. Then I think it combines that with stuff like moisture to try to sort of generate a dynamic biomap. This is an area with, from my understanding, relatively low moisture, that is also very cold, and therefore we have snowy plains. If we had relatively higher moisture, I think we would see a proper forest. In a way, having the Nether not actually have the transportation benefits it does would maybe make these places even cooler if you were playing something like multiplayer. Imagine actually having a reason to have a lot of outpost bases on your way from A to B. Nowadays, of course, you can just travel with the Elytra, but you can imagine, if you were getting really into survival Minecraft, maybe back in the day you would have, like in the beta versions, sometimes it just made sense to have a little supply outpost on the way if you know that you'll have to stay the night somewhere. Well, it's a smart idea to build a little house along the way. Anyways, as you can see now, we're passing through a relatively interesting area where it's a frozen river, but the actual forest isn't frozen. I feel like it should be kind of the other way around, but yeah. The actual taigas are one of the coolest things I've seen, because they'll go on for miles and miles. Maybe they're just a relatively common biome, but if you've ever felt like biomes in the normal version are just kind of cramped, like I said earlier, in a way where they feel really unnatural, this game mode has got you covered. Another thing, if you want to build, oh, I don't know, like a giant structure somewhere in the sea, I think this is a really good place to do it. Honestly, I don't know why I decided to build the ruins a million miles away. Yeah, this place would be pretty cool for, like, ruins. But anyways, now we are approaching far more familiar territory. You can already see one of the shield structures. Yes, in fact, it would appear that this part of the world has a bunch of these things everywhere. Essentially in a semicircle around spawn. The other half of the semicircle is the ocean. And that makes for some really cool worldgen. Right after we come across a ruin portal, yeah, that one over there, the structure is going to reveal itself. Okay, not that one. Oh! The game lagged trying to load stuff in. Whatever. That is the main base up there. It is my giant airship, and this is the rest of the base. Has this broken while I've been away? I'm gonna have to show this off because it's a completely custom design. This is the repair system. But you can see there's a lot of kelp here. Because, unsurprisingly, this thing has been working very hard with these chunk loaders, which seem to be working no matter what I do. Like, they don't go off. They keep working. I think you have to load them in. But once you do that once when you load into the world, they'll just keep on running. The kelp, there's a small one and a big one because I wanted to keep the general structure shape. The kelp is basically just collected. It goes through here. Some of it is tossed out, but doesn't really matter. We're losing a tiny bit of kelp. Then this kelp goes here, it's fed into a minecart, and this only comes back properly when it's full. And then the minecart will drop this into a sort of repeater system I set up where you gain kelp this way because you're smelting kelp to get dried kelp, and then you're using the new crafter block to craft it. And then that's getting collected, the excess, and put there. But yeah, this is the Large Biomes world. And I would like to just generally show you the map, because I'm pretty sure you've seen that huge structure over there that we saw just kind of jutting into the sky. But they're everywhere. As you can see, this is the sort of general map of the area that I made. This is a much larger map. Sadly, I do not have the time to fill in everything else. Maybe one day. I do have to update these maps, though. I haven't touched... You see, the big structure isn't even here. But, over here, that was the structure I believe we've seen. There's one over there. There's a structure right over here that I've actually built on, but it's kind of a pause for now. Two structures over here, jutting into the sky. Several just going down in this sort of semicircle pattern around. It's beautiful. It's like an actual sort of mountain range. Granted, a bit of a weird mountain range, but an actual mountain range. So, to show you some of the other things you can get, or I guess the main other thing which you can get, we're gonna have to go into the nether, and I'm gonna have to use the nether skyway that I made. Anyways, this is a sort of nether system to get to the airship if you don't have the, you know, standard stuff. This is going to the end, but we don't want to go to the end. We want to use the skyway, which is up here. It's not really a skyway, but, you know. There we go. The actual portal to the structure is over there, but we're going to be going over here. And how do I explain this? So there is an unfinished build over there. However, welcome to the desert area, which is filled with both Mesopotamian and Egyptian-inspired structures. But, yeah. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. You don't know how long this took me to build. Anyways, as you can probably tell, these are giant empty structures, at the moment, well, mostly empty. And the only reason I ever built any of these was because I wanted to. That's the unfinished part up there. However, This desert goes on for miles and miles and miles. I picked this part because there are a lot of rivers and it looks really beautiful. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this structure is surrounded by rivers. It's on a little island, and I think that's really beautiful. Here I had to pick just like a sort of more deserty area, but still, it is brilliant. Also, this was a natural formation. I did not edit this. I didn't build this. It was just here. I just made it a little bit longer so it fit in more. As you can also see on the sides, I don't know how easy it is to spot, but this terrain was previously quite a lot higher in some places. You can see, for instance, over here where this just ends. This was all me changing the terrain so it fit more. And it was mostly fine, except I needed, like, a lot of flat space around the sides, so this part next to the mountain was kind of annoying to do. Anyways, let's head in. And here we go. Now, you may be wondering why I personally wanted to show you this in a large biomes sort of world. And it's because this kind of structure is only really possible thanks to the motivation I get from the large biomes. I know it sounds a little bit stupid and convoluted when I say it like that, but it is something that is genuinely true. Large biomes have this sort of effect where, because the world is so much larger, there is so much more cohesion. It just inspires you to build more. When you have a massive desert, you want to find a cool place in a sort of geographic center of the desert, and then use that for, you know... oh, fuck, here we are. And use that sort of area to build something cool in it. When I built my base at spawn, I originally had no idea that there were so many cool monuments around me, but then when I saw them, I decided to stay. Anyways, before we head back to the overworld and see what we pop up, I just really quickly have to... and now we go and play a fun little game. It's called Piss Off a Bunch of Endermen. Anyways, now that they're mad, we can have some fun, which is called Running for Your Life. Holy shit. Okay. And yeah, they will just kind of come up here and die in the water. Because they have only 1 HP. It is kind of funny watching them. However, this is where we'll see where I pop up. And that's the dragon egg, okay. So we did... Ah! I'm back in the airship. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope that through some of the things in my world, you can see why I believe large biomes are so cool. And while I didn't show off everything I've built, I think I've shown off the most impressive biomes and generally what you can find. There's always more stuff that I haven't talked about. There are kilometer-wide Mushroom Island biomes, but that's basically it. Bye-bye.